Overall 16 years experience, more than 16. Everybody to this demo on a course. We call this course Site Reliability Engineering and Cloud Performance Engineering in DevOps. So we will talk about this course, what it covers, and how do we go about it. Before we start, let me ask you, all of you, a question, and let me introduce myself, friends. My name is Roshan Kumar. I am with Isha from last 5 years, been a trainer here. I'm also take training with multiple institutes, other institutes like Intellipaat, Edureka as well. I have a overall 16 years experience, more than 16 now, and I'm working currently as a principal SRE, principal satellite engineering with one of the reputed giants of the world. I have multiple cloud experiences. I'm a solution architect certified with AWS, Azure, GCP. I started my career as a Java developer. Then I have been into various other tools. I have been into sysadmin. I have been into DevOps. I'm currently working as a principal SRE. That's background about me, friends. So we will start with so this is the agenda. We'll start with a question, and then we will understand basically the software development and deployment evolution, how the software has been developed and deployed over the years. And then we'll talk about the course and how do we go about this course. And then we'll take Q&A at the end, friends. So, okay, this is the question. Do you think, friends, our performance engineers, or I would say anybody nowadays, in anybody working in IT, in current market trend, current scenario, do you think, based on experience, that we should know these things? DevOps, microservices, containers, and cloud. How many of you agree that yes, we need to know this? You can use the chat option. You can unmute yourself, anything the way you feel comfortable. Please confirm, friends, based on your experience working in IT. Okay, I have started to
Yeah,
get
we need to know about the cloud and the DevOps and all this.
right. So Hari and Mohan agrees. Right. It is good. Yes, Kiran, perfect. Mr. Reddy also agrees to this. Absolutely, friends. See, these things are mandatory. If you are a performance engineer or anybody or a cloud engineer or anybody in IT, except I would say the QA folks may not need to know the like the functional tester I'm talking about. They may not need to know the underlying architecture, underlying infra. They are only concerned about the functionality of the application, except those folks. Everybody, developer, DevOps, SRE engineers, performance engineers, cloud engineer, admin guys, everybody across IT, they need to all this. And why do we need to know all these things only? DevOps, microservices, containers, and cloud. When you see the next slide, the software development and deployment evolutions, how the software has been developed and deployed over the years, you will understand this, why these things are only important and or I would say the relevant, right? So let me show you the software development and deployment evolutions, friends, over the years. If you look at this slide talks about the journey, how the software has been developed and deployed over the years, the evolution. So if you look at the development process, we started with waterfall. We started with waterfall model where we developed everything at once. Whatever the planning was there, we developed everything at once, and then we started to test it. It had a lot of flaws. It was very difficult to, if let's say at the end, because we were testing at the end, very end, after we developed the complete software. At the end, when we started to test, in case of let's say flaws like architectural flaws, the application is not scalable. It was so difficult to go back and make changes. The requirements may change, but we're not taking the requirements in middle. and we would to get the requirements after at the end. Okay, no, we should also have that. It was very difficult to go back and make those changes in the waterfall. We learned from our mistakes. Then we shifted to agile, where we did the development into phases. We call those sprints. It has also a lot of advantages, as no problem as the process perspective, but we had the process of manual intervention. When the code was ready, it took a lot of time for us to deploy the code to production. Every steps, the building the code, testing, QA, functional testing, performance testing, security testing, that took a lot of time because there was a lot of manual process involved. There was not much automation. So that's where we talk about the DevOps, where the process is same, the agile, the way of development into phases, sprints. We took the feedback from the previous sprint. We we always went to the customer and took the feedback, and we incorporated all those things, and we bring in automation here so that when the code is ready and the time you release the code to production, that can be done swiftly. And that's what DevOps focuses on. So if you look at the evolution, we have been evolved from waterfall to agile to DevOps. Same thing happens for the application architecture. Earlier, we were working on the monolithic applications. If you look at the trend now, we are all talking about microservices because we all know, understand the importance of microservices. If we have microservices, the application reliability, availability could be increased. Because here in monolithic, the entire code base was together. The entire code base was together. Issue with one of the issues with one of the modules could impact the other modules. That's why we talk about microservices. And the two microservices can communicate using the REST API calls. We'll make it independent. Each microservice is an independent application and they can communicate using APIs. We are developing all the newer developments is happening in the microservices domain. Okay, coming to the infrastructure. Earlier, when around 1980s, we were deploying things on the physical server, directly on the physical server. We were wasting a lot of resources. Then there came a technology called virtualization. It was a great revolution. We could use the same infra and we could create multiple VMs after virtualization. And we could install multiple applications in each of the VMs. Now in 2015, 10 years back, we found a technology called containerization that can even further optimize the infra utilization. We could create containers, and that's where you talk about Docker and Kubernetes. Because nowadays, if it comes about the deployment, we're deploying the microservices on the containers. In the containers, we're talking about Docker. We install Docker in the VM and we could containerize the VM and we create containers. We have the pods in the Kubernetes. We have auto scaling, auto healing. All those features of container orchestration engine Kubernetes makes it so life so easy, stable in production. And then it comes to the infrastructure application. Where do we host it? It was earlier the data center. There was no other option back in 1980s. If you had a business idea, we have to set up a data center, which is a very costly affair, very costly affair. Setting up a data center is not that efficient. You have to procure the land, construct the building, purchase everything, hardware, set up cooling mechanism. You have to have redundant power sources, internet connectivity, everything. It was a very huge costly affair. Only the big players could afford to have a data center. But if you look at the situation now, we are in the cloud. And if you need a server, just go to AWS, Azure. We have so many cloud providers. Just go there and get some servers. And it's easy to pay a monthly bill of $5,000 or $10,000 compared to billions of dollars of investment in a data center. So this is where the current market trend, and it's going on, friends. And if we don't know these things, we would not be up to the market and we would be missing out on a lot of things. DevOps, microservices, containers, and cloud. So considering this aspect, this course, we are coming up with the course, Cloud Performance Engineering in DevOps and SRE. Considering these aspects. Now, this is the course syllabus. We talk about a lot of things here. This is a very vast course. We take, though it's a vast course, but we take it from scratch. We don't expect a lot of prerequisite knowledge. If you have a basics of IT knowledge, irrespective of any domain that you are, if you are a performance tester, engineer, cloud engineer, automation engineer, production support, anybody across. If you understand the basics of IT, if you understand what is a server, what is a port, that's all we require to take this up. And we cover a lot of things. And we have approximately 50 hours of live sessions, 45 to 50 hours of live sessions. This course goes around more than 2.5 months, around 3 months. And we cover a lot of things from very basics. We cover cloud. We take up AWS in this course. We take up Linux because the 95 to 98% of the deployment that's happening in enterprise industry is happening on Linux server. Yes. So Hari, if you're a project manager, and let's say, think about it, Hari, if you do not know about this technology, but your project needs to are aware, or let's say your project is working on these technologies, then how would you be able to manage, Hari? So absolutely yes. Being a project manager, being a team lead, when you are working on this setup, the DevOps, the cloud, the microservices setup, you have to know all these things. Then only you can manage your team well.
Thank you.
We talk about Linux because the enterprise, what I have understood over the years from my experience, from my teaching experience, that people are comfortable with Windows because they use Windows, it's a UI, graphical user interface, comfortable. But whenever I talk about Linux, we are struggling. That's why we have this course of Linux here, where my tagline is get as comfortable in Linux as you are with Windows. It's all about the operating system. We just need to know how do we operate it. How do we work upon it? Because this is important. Let's say tomorrow somebody wants you to check the logs. Later you have got the Linux server access. They want you to check the logs. How would you go and check the logs? How would you SSH? What command will you issue? Let's say you have got the access of the Linux server. Somebody wants to check what is the CPU memory usage. What are the different processes running? Where is the bottleneck? How would you do that? We should know, we should be comfortable with Linux. And that's what we are talking about, the Linux. We'll talk about the software architecture, the monolithic applications, microservices, how they are differ, why we talk about microservices so much, why they are so much, they bring it reliability into picture. We'll talk about that. We talk about containerization. We talk about Docker in this course. We talk about Kubernetes, the most important topic nowadays, because the entire nowadays, if you look at this, friends, you can check. I can ask you as well about what you work upon in your company. But it's if you are using containerization, it has to be Kubernetes because Kubernetes offers you so much of stability of the features. Kubernetes from Google. Who handles load traffic better than Google? We talk about performance engineering in DevOps. We also share Java performance engineering, various concepts of Java performance engineering in this course. First of all, how performance engineering fits in DevOps. What is DevOps? What is CI/CD pipeline? That is a buzz about what it is. How do we create pipeline? How can we make sure when the code is ready, you have a pipeline and an automated process which will get triggered one after the another, and eventually my code will get deployed to production. What is that process? Automated process, which where we are avoiding or we're not doing the manual activities. Everything is automated. When the code is ready, what do we expect? What is the end goal? When the code is ready, Our end goal is to deploy that code to production. That is our end goal. But we do a lot of steps in between. They don't have. We do quality checks, functional testing, performance testing, security testing. We build the code first. We deploy the code to QA environment, pre-prod environment, prod environment. We do the building the code, we deploy the code, and we test the code. There are so many activities that are involved. Hey, hi everyone. If we do this manually, it takes months. But the code was ready a month back. We will wait for 2 more minutes for other learners to join. It doesn't make sense. And then we'll start our discussion. 2 minutes we'll wait and then we'll start our discussion. Why can't we automate the functional testing using Selenium? Thanks for joining first. Why can't we automate the performance testing using Jmeter? And when the functional testing completes, trigger the Jmeter job. And we need a CI tool. We integrate with Jenkins. Why can't we automate the security testing? So we'll talk about that in DevOps, right? And how performance engineering fits in DevOps. We'll talk about Java performance engineering in this course. What is Java, JVM architecture, various memory spaces that we have, heap, we have PC registers, we have method area, we have how JVM works, how Java manages the memory. We have garbage collection, various GC algorithms, heap dump, thread dump, GC log analysis. We talk about that in this course. We talk about automation, and that's required for a SRE engineer. We talk about Terraform and Ansible. Terraform, let me ask you a simple question, what it is in a very simple term. We have good companies like, let's say, banking application. We have HDFC, SBI, ICICI. We have so many applications. Can anyone please Flipkart and various kinds of applications.
Hey, hi, good evening.
We have so many servers deployed in the production. There's so much of workload is there, so much features are there, so much of load is there. Do you think those companies are provisioning the servers manually?
Cool. I think I'm audible, right? Can
creating the infrastructure
remaining folks also quickly give me a confirmation,
servers.
please?
They have so much of complex architecture. We have web server, app server, database server.
Okay.
Do you think
so good evening, everyone. My name
is
is Kiran, and I'm the trainer for accessibility testing from Isha Training Solutions.
In this current market trend.
And thank you very much for making some time to join this quick initial demonstration class on
we talk about observability
what we teach at Isha Training Solutions on accessibility testing course. Let me also share my screen so that
what is SLO, SLA, SLIs, error budgets, disaster recovery.
I think my screen share should be visible to all of you.
I'll go in detail about
again. Can I have a quick confirmation on this as well, please?
Any questions before I go in detail about the course?
We are able to see.
I'll share a link with all of you.
Okay, cool. Okay,
you can find.
Fine. So as you all know, this is a quick introduction demonstration class on accessibility testing, and also to let you know what is that we teach, who is the trainer, where is it coming from, and accordingly, probably if you have any questions surrounding around accessibility testing, whether it is the course that you are looking for or you're looking for something else, we can probably have more Q&A session as well towards the end of the training. And I'll try to keep this demonstration class
if we need, we
little
can have a
short as well
but
to respect everyone's time in the late evening again.
We will decide.
Okay, to start with, like I said, my name is Kiran, and I'm the trainer for accessibility testing, and I come with close to 2 decades of experience on the software testing industry. So I've started my career way back in 2003 in the development and then shifted gradually to software testing. And I have been doing trainings from close to 12 plus years now across different testing subjects. So not only accessibility testing, I train the corporates, the individual corporate employees or students, college passed outs, etc. on various subjects on software testing, such as the automation testing on the back end side, automation testing on the front end, performance testing, security testing, otherwise vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, accessibility testing. On the DevOps side, I deal with tools like GitHub and Jenkins. When it comes to tools, I work with tools like Selenium, Catalan Studio, Postman, SoapUI, Ready API tool, K6, Jmeter, Perp Suite, Zap, etc., etc. So there are a lot of technologies that I train the students, the corporates, and right now this particular demonstration class I'm having with you is specific to accessibility testing, which is one of the non-functional testing that we have in the testing space, right? And as of now, we have successfully completed close to 3 or 4 batches on accessibility testing from Isha Training Solutions, and so far the feedback we have received is overwhelming. And now when it comes to feedback, it's not about saying, okay, the trainer is good, the trainer is giving good material. Not only that, there are also certain inputs wherein the students come and say, Kiran, can you also talk about this?
So this
and
is,
wherever there is a possibility, I talk about that. And the same thing is also amended in our overall training curriculum as well. And that's the overall training curriculum I would like to showcase in this demonstration and help you understand what do I deliver. Okay, so that's a little introduction about my profile, and driving straight away into accessibility testing. Simple questions. One of the common questions we have is, when are you starting the batch, right? The batch starts from today. That's how you can think of.
3 days a week.
And the duration of this training is close to 1 month. And we do trainings on Monday to Friday, right? Not on weekends. And the timings will be as usual, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST.
3 days a week,
right?
Tuesday.
And even if you miss any classes, you will still be eligible to receive the recorded class notes, recorded class videos, right? So all live classes are recorded, including this class. Everything gets recorded,
3 more weeks
and the access to these recorded classes will be shared with you once you know the enrollment is completed. Of course, for this demonstration class, I will share the recorded video of this demo with all of you, even if you don't enroll, so that you can go through it one more time if you have questions. So the detailed course curriculum is also available on our website, and I'm giving it on the chat as well for you to refer it at a later point of time as well.
This is the same course.
So you can also read a couple of points about me, what I am. You can always see this. Again, I don't want to boast much about this, my profile in this demo class. Please go through it if you have some time.
Could you be clear?
And like I said, accessibility testing is not a functional testing. It's a non-functional testing where we focus only on whether the developed application is used by different users across the internet. Right? So when we say users, there are different types of users who are physically challenged or mentally challenged.
So we have options to
people
select,
who cannot
but it will
hear,
take some time.
People
we're coming
who
with
cannot,
a new batch now. 7:30 a.m. now.
Right? People who cannot see.
This is a new batch.
People who cannot feel the sense of
and
touch.
It will be over Monday, Wednesday.
Again, people who are not computer literate.
Hari, you're not audible.
People who are not good at computers but good at mobile.
Hari, again.
Vice versa. And then people who are
I see you are muted.
Computer literate versus computer illiterate, right? So non-functional testing just addresses all these things, especially accessibility testing. Okay, I should take back my word. Accessibility testing addresses all these things. So when you develop a mobile application, or when you develop a web application or a desktop application, most of the time the functional tester checks whether it is accessible to my customer or not. And customer is always hale and healthy. But you're never talking about those people across the corner of the world who are mentally challenged or physically challenged. Right? So how is your application helping them to use on their daily basis? Right? I can take some examples as well for WhatsApp to help you understand a little bit about accessibility testing before I deep dive into the course curriculum. Okay?
That's how we start.
So far, am I clear? Is my English okay for you guys? Is the pace okay for you?
How do we create
Can I have a quick confirmation?
Storage,
to an emotion, something like this,
manage the users,
or maybe you can just say,
and various load balancing.
Am I clear until this point, everyone?
Group.
Yes.
Lot of things. Okay, you can go over the detail.
Perfect. Thank you. So let me take a simple example so that you can correlate to accessibility testing. Right?
By just
so
the topic
see, all of us use WhatsApp, right? There is no exception to it.
Covered here.
Now, me using WhatsApp and let's say Priyanka, Nilima using WhatsApp, it's a common thing, right? There is no rocket science in it. But if I talk about my mom, right?
This is going to be the
No,
fundamental.
my mom is not educated,
the
right?
foundation for
They
the
obviously belong to the
solution
other
architect
generation
at the
where
architect
education was a
level is
privilege
what
for
we
them,
cover
right?
in
So
depth.
probably she completed her fifth
We talk about
standard, but now if I
reliability,
ask my mom,
performance,
she
cost,
cannot read
every
English,
aspect.
she cannot speak
It's not
English,
just
but
about the
she talks the
service.
native language, right?
Any cloud.
But is it stopping
we
her from
focus
using
on the
WhatsApp?
performance,
The answer is absolutely
reliability,
no. The
cost,
same is the case with
security,
your
every
parents. The
aspect.
same is the case with your grandparents or with my
Now,
grandparents.
the
No one
Linux
says,
part.
I am
That's
not
what we
computer
cover.
literate, so I cannot use
Linux.
WhatsApp.
That's very
No,
important.
people say
I'll
bullshit.
also
Everyone uses WhatsApp these
share
days, right?
what do we
Now, how
share
can my
as
mom
part
use
of the
WhatsApp? Simple example. Let's say, everyone has that
let me
family
show
group,
you
right?
the
Where people
PPTs
exchange lot of
that we
forwards
have
and
so that
birthday
you
wishes,
understand
anniversary wishes, etc., etc.
the depth
So my mom cannot read those
of the
English
topics,
messages,
each of the topics.
but she's good at her native language, which is
So
Telugu.
I'm showing
So
you one of
WhatsApp
the
allows people to
all the
type a
documents that I
message, not
share
only in English, right? It allows people to type
with everybody
a
who
message in
joins.
English, in
Right. So
Hindi,
if you
in
look at
Telugu,
this,
in
the
Tamil,
cloud part
Kannada, Malayalam,
is
etc., etc. All the
we
maximum
have
languages are
approximately
supported by WhatsApp.
in detail. If you
That's
see
accessibility testing.
this is for the
Meaning
reference
that
and how
feature
many
is
topics we
available in
cover.
WhatsApp.
If you
So
talk
I will
about this,
say
we cover approximately
accessibility is
200
built
slides,
into
150 200
WhatsApp,
slides here.
so that WhatsApp
In
gives a
detail, we
broadcast
cover
message to everyone
lot of
saying,
services we
people
cover.
who
As you
don't
can
speak
see here, we
English,
cover
people who don't
approximately
understand
150
English, you are
slides,
still
170
welcome to
slides.
use
We
WhatsApp
have
because
it
we
here.
support your local
And we cover
languages.
about a lot of things.
Right, so my mom says, okay, I can understand the reading in Telugu, so she is able to use it.
In the cloud perspective.
Now comes the second challenge. Now my mom wanted to send a happy birthday message.
Coming to the
so
Linux
she cannot type
part,
it in English. So there is a disability.
Again,
no, she cannot type it in Telugu either because she has that, computer literacy not being available or smartphone literacy not being available. So how did WhatsApp solve this problem for every person, right? I'm just taking my mom as an example. Simple. WhatsApp said you have that voice recording feature. Once you get into a group, you have that mic icon, just hold it,
how do you manage the
long press
permissions
it,
of a
and then you
file,
speak in your
how do you
local
change the
language and then
ownership
release
of a
it, and then
file,
the
how
voice
do you
message just goes off. And then the
search for a
recipient can
text
just play it back to
or
understand what my mom
replace a
told them.
word
So
in
that
the
says,
text.
okay,
Every
happy
detail. As you
birthday,
can see here,
Priyanka.
process
Finish, the message is
management,
delivered. Now WhatsApp has
networking,
solved this problem. So that's another
disk usage, and
accessibility
eventually
feature
at the end, the
introduced by
self-scripting.
WhatsApp to help
How do
people
you do self-scripting for
use
performance
WhatsApp.
monitoring?
Otherwise, a
So we
competitor
talk
will come
about
and eat
so
away
much
that
of things
space.
here
So
in this
WhatsApp is
course,
ensuring that
right?
no competitor will beat
In the
me
cloud
from an
at
accessibility
the
testing
Linux
perspective.
part.
Right? So I gave you
Then we
only
have
two
the
examples how WhatsApp is solving
the architecture
accessibility.
part.
I'm sure
I'll
if
go
you
in
have
the
understood these
sequence,
two
the way we
examples,
will
you
go
can
about it. So we
create
have
your
the
own
monolithic
3
and the
examples,
microservice
5
architecture.
examples for
How do we,
Facebook or Instagram
what
or
is
Twitter or
monolithic? What is
LinkedIn
microservices?
or
How they're
WhatsApp for
different?
that matter. So
Then we talk
that's
about
the
Docker.
importance of
So again, if you see
accessibility.
this, we
Right?
have the Docker,
And
the
you understand
container
that
engine.
everyone knows that
It is
across
required.
the
This is
world,
what
India
virtualize
is that
the
only country
VM,
which
and
is
we
contributing
containerize the
towards the
VM and we create
maximum
containers.
revenue for
So we talk
WhatsApp
about the
or
same thing. What is
YouTube
monolithic?
or
What is
Facebook or
microservices? The
Instagram or
architecture of
any social media app,
microservices.
because the population
How
is
it
so
is. How do we
huge
create
in India
containers?
next to China that
Various
we are
aspects
giving
of
more
it.
revenue to
What,
them through these
how
social media
the
apps.
Docker
And how
architecture and the various
we are never
commands that we have
discounting our
when to
parents or
operate with
grandparents or
containers.
kids for
We
that
talk
matter,
about that.
those who cannot
And
still
then
type
once
or who
we
cannot read,
understand the
because
container part,
WhatsApp,
we'll talk
Facebook, they
about
all
the
handled these
Kubernetes.
accessibility issues well in
That's
advance so that
the
they don't
most
lose
important thing,
that
because we need to
customer
have
base.
understanding of
And that's
container.
how we are
Then only we
helping
can learn the
these
Kubernetes.
foreign companies make maximum revenue
And
from Indian population.
we do
Right?
hands-on
So the
here. We
bottom line
create the
here is
cluster, real
accessibility is
cluster in
playing one of the
EKS,
major
in
contributors
AWS. We
towards
create the
revenue
cluster.
increase.
I'll demonstrate
Now,
everything.
this is what this course is also talking
This
about. Of course,
Kubernetes
we
is a
don't
very
talk about
vast topic,
revenue, we don't
and
talk
we
about
cover a
business,
lot of
but we
things
talk
here.
about
I
what
know
is that
the
we can
importance
do
of
as a test engineer
Kubernetes, and we
to
have
test
approximately
accessibility
100
for the
slides here,
developed
as you can see
application
here.
whenever your customer
We talk about
demands that I
ingress, we
want
talk about
accessibility to be conducted.
horizontal pod
Right?
auto
So
scaling,
that's one
cluster
of
auto
the
scaling. If you know about these
areas where
topics,
companies,
very
businesses make a lot of
important
money
topics
if
these things are,
accessibility is
to
addressed. And I
understand
gave
how
a
the
live
routing
example
works
of
in the
WhatsApp
case
and
of
Facebook.
containerization.
I hope I'm clear
In the
until
case
this
of
point.
VM,
Can I have a quick confirmation if
we
I'm
talk about
clear? Or if
auto
you have a question, you can even ask me now
scaling and the
before I
load
move
balance in
forward.
the case of VM. But in the case of containers, how the routing works, we talk about in the Kubernetes.
Okay, thank you, Ravi and
Then we
Mallikarjun and
talk
Priyanka.
about
Thank you. Okay, so
DevOps, Docker and Kubernetes.
so there are
Then
so
we
to
talk
do
about
this course, there are so many tools that I'm going to talk about. So these are a couple of tools. Again, I'll talk about the tools a little bit later. And on this website, we have also added my day 0, day 1, day 2 videos of my previous batch. We can also go through it. Otherwise, we can just go through current recorded session as well. That gives you more clarity. This is like recorded in the month of March for the batch that I did in March and April.
You're going to have such pipeline created.
Okay, so moving first, so this is the feedback I have received, and this is the real feedback from the students, not a cooked up feedback.
We'll have a code in GitHub. We'll take the code, we'll build the code.
Yeah, now this is something most of the students ask me, saying, okay, I'm interested in accessibility, but I'm from development background, I'm from project management background, I'm from Scrum Master, I'm a test engineer. Is it okay for me?
In the company, they will expect.
So the answer is simple. Who is eligible for this training, or who can make it easy to this training? So my answer is simple. Anyone who has the basic understanding of software development lifecycle or software testing lifecycle, someone who understands what happens in a typical software testing job at a high level, they are in a good position to go through this course. And second thing is like, should I come with programming knowledge background to attend this course, or to learn this course and put in my resume, or to look up for a job in this? The answer is absolutely no programming knowledge experience is necessary. 0% programming knowledge is necessary in this course, because we are not writing any code. All the tools that are present in accessibility testing,
the pipeline,
and all the tools that I am teaching, they are all configured tools, meaning they are all easy tools that you have to configure, for which you don't have to know any programming language. It's just a brainy exercise. All of us have some brain, and that brain is enough to work with this course.
I don't want to overwhelm
you just by the course, you feel that, hey, accessibility testing is actually easy if we follow it.
We talk about
that's how the course has been decided, right? And these are the three salient features that I can talk about. We have this 22 or 24 hours of training in a 1 month, and we provide you live recorded videos on a daily basis as soon as the class is completed. Since the class is completed in the late evenings, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., the next day the video will be available to you, and the notes related to the training will be available to you immediately as soon as we complete the class. And everything that we share with you is lifelong. It's not that you can access it only for 30 days or 60
the
days.
JVM architecture,
lifelong you
how
have
Java
access. And Isha team will also give you a course completion certificate. And in case if you think you can reimburse this money from your organization, because there is a policy around it, you can use this to get your money reimbursed, or for people who are looking for a job, that will help you to tell the interviewer that, hey, this is the proof that I have successfully completed the course as well. So in both the ways that will help.
Metaspace, and
right,
how
and who can enroll in this course? I have listed them here. All the manual testers, developers, business analysts, Scrum Masters, freshers, graduates can also enroll in this course, provided they understand some basic information about what is software, what exactly happens in a development lifecycle and testing lifecycle. That's one of the common things everyone learned in their college days, in their projects as well.
We'll talk about
coming to the course material. I will be responsible to give you all the material, right? Be it the testing checklist, being the detailed notes, with the tools information, without the tools information, all the WCAG guidelines, all the test cases, test scenarios, interview questions and answers, resume preparation. I will help you with all those things during the course itself. Finally, we'll talk about the course syllabus. Okay, that is the main thing why you are here today, right?
And that's why we have.
Coming to the course content, right? If you see here, I have refined this course curriculum almost a couple of days back, based on the industry changes I have observed in the last 1.5 months, and also based on certain inputs I have received from my previous batch, so that the next batch can benefit it, which means this batch will benefit it. So if you see here, I have divided them into chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Wherever you see hands-on exercise, it is all practical training, no theoretical. Wherever you don't see hands-on exercise, example chapter 1, 2, it is all theory. Right? So chapter 3, you have 4, 5, and these are all the tools I have listed in chapter 5, chapter 6. So we have total 6 chapters to conclude this training program. And let me help you understand what I teach in each chapter at a very high level. So I may not be going very deep today. Tomorrow I might go deep in day 1 class. This is day 0 class. So in chapter 1, we will focus more on understanding what is functional testing, what is non-functional testing, the difference between them, where is usability testing coming into picture, where is accessibility testing coming into picture, and what are those top 5 disabilities where accessibility testing is recommended by the industry. So these are those 5 disabilities, visual dependency, visual disability, someone who cannot see, speech, people who cannot speak, hearing, people who cannot listen, cognitive, so it is like mental disabilities, meaning your brain is thinking too much, or brain is thinking under thinking, I would say, or the brain is not yet developed, so they are like 5 years back in their thinking perspective. Motor is like paralysis attack, partial paralysis attack, people who cannot use the mouse. So these are the 5 disabilities, and how do you test your web application for these disabilities? Right. So obviously in chapter 1, we don't talk about how do you test. We'll talk a little bit about these disabilities, what are the tools available in the market, where are the areas you have to invest your energies to start testing. Right. So that's what I talk mostly on chapter 1. So chapter 1 gives you a brief overview. And chapter 1, we are starting from tomorrow itself. Right? Today is kind of demo only to you, like basic understanding. Chapter 2, we will get very close to accessibility testing. In chapter 1, we are not getting close to accessibility testing. We are understanding what it is, but at a very far distance. Chapter 2 onwards, you become very, very close to accessibility testing. So here we talk about something called WCAG. So WCAG stands for Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. Storage. So you pronounce it as WCAG. Okay, we don't say WCAG, we call it as WCAG, Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. So WCAG is an industry body that tells the world how to do accessibility testing, how to do accessibility development. So WCAG will tell the developers how to develop, WCAG will tell testers how to test it.
Scripting knowledge.
So that is the industry body. Automation, we are going to talk about from an introduction perspective. And when we say accessibility testing, there are 4 main principles for you and me. And in fact, that is the first question in the interview. What are the 4 accessibility testing principles? And the answer is POUR. P stands for perceivable, O stands for operable, U stands for understandable, R stands for robust. So these are the 4 principles, and the shortcut is, or the abbreviation is POUR.
Python scripts.
So we need to understand what are these 4 principles. So I'll give just one line understanding. Perceivable talks about, can someone perceive your application? Can someone touch it? Is it tangible? O stands for operable, meaning can every person operate your application? Someone says, okay, I don't have hands.
But
can I still operate it? Something like that, right? Someone says, I don't understand English. Can I still operate it? That's something. I don't have a mouse. Can I still operate it? So they all come under O.
To become an SRE engineer, you have very
understandable factor.
Question. To become an SRE
engineer, is the application understandable to everyone? Like, are you using complex words in your application, which is making people run away from your application?
Whatever we are covering,
I'll give a simple example.
This course is very much in line. We need to cover
if I use this word on the chat, you guys tell me whether you understand it or not.
The DevOps part. Apart from that, the observability. You should be very much comfortable with monitoring tools.
So I'm sending a message on the chat, alerts. And it is, that was a rhetoric question.
Understanding the
How many of you understand that point? Don't Google it, don't chat GPT.
All about working in production.
How many of you understand?
That is the difference.
If you understand it, I need a thumbs up. If you don't understand it, you can just say surprised.
There are a lot of skill sets.
At least 1 or 2 people, if you can confirm, I know, okay, you are with me.
The most significant difference that a performance
engineer works in low environment. Very good.
QA2 pre-prod.
Priyank also saying.
Whereas the SRE engineer take care in the production environment. If the issues happening in production, how will you troubleshoot?
Okay, I have 3 more because people. You don't have a lot of time. Maz also says the same. Okay, fine. So 3 people at least said they did not understand it.
In low environment.
Okay, Ravi says he understood it. Thank you, Ravi, for that. So I used some English, which I never understood in my career earlier unless someone explained it to me. So I know the meaning of it. Now you don't know the meaning of it because you never came across. Now when I use this kind of English in my training, you will say, Kiran is not the right trainer. So I'm losing accessibility there because I'm not reachable to you. I'm not understandable to you. Similarly, if you use a similar complex English in your mobile application, in your website application, in your desktop application, people will run away. Right? Example, if you have to read newspaper and newspaper uses difficult English, you will never read that paper, right? You want people to read your newspaper so that you make money, so you will use simple English. Right?
security group, we have NACA.
That is what this use talks about, understandable. I'll just give one example only.
Perspective we cover.
Right? So the meaning of rhetoric question is a question which does not have an answer. Is called a rhetoric question. So rhetoric means a question that does not have an answer. That is the meaning I was told by one of my friend who is an expert in English. So if I'm asking a rhetorical question to you, it means that question does not even have that question does not even have an answer. So I'm trying to fool you around, right? When I have rhetoric questions to you. So
that's why it's so vast.
This you talks about understandable. So is your application understandable for every person? Don't expect every person in the world to know English, right? There are people in the world who don't even speak English. Like if you go to Germany, you cannot survive if you just know English. You need to speak local language at least somewhere here and there. If you go to Paris, you cannot survive with English alone. You need to speak French.
Anybody else? Any questions?
Right? So there are so many countries which are popular where English is not the first language. Their local language is the first and preferred language. Fortunately, in India, you can survive if you know English anywhere in the corner of the world. Right? It is not that if you don't speak Hindi or if you don't speak Telugu, you cannot survive in Hyderabad, or if you don't speak Tamil, you cannot survive in Chennai. You can still survive anywhere in India, but other countries are not like that. Similarly, you talks about that from an application perspective. Then R talks about robust, whether your application is robust from accessibility tools perspective. Okay, so these are a couple of WCAG guidelines that we will discuss in depth in chapter 2. And then WCAG, which is the industry body, initially during 1999, I guess, they came with 1.0 standard. When HTML was the only way to develop websites. Then slowly Java came into picture, PHP came into picture, then 2.0 came into picture. So they updated their guidelines to 2.0 version. And then mobile came into picture, so 2.1 guidelines were introduced. And then some updates were happening on the overall World Wide Web 3. W3,
and then
so they introduced 2.2 guidelines. So these guidelines on the internet for WCAG will tell you what test cases to test for, what are the areas that you have to test for accessibility testing. Right now, you may not understand what is the document I'm talking about, but probably from tomorrow onwards, we'll get more clarity. So this guideline is a standard checklist or a document that WCAG has released. And whether I'm training you or you are learning on your own, you have to follow WCAG guidelines only. I cannot give you my own test cases for accessibility testing. I should follow WCAG guidelines. And you should also follow WCAG guidelines. Only then you certify your application for accessibility. And since 2.2 is latest, we will focus more on 2.2. Once you focus on 2.2, the remaining old ones are automatically addressed. So as of today, when I'm teaching you, 2.2 is the latest guidelines in the market. And WCAG is also working parallelly on 3.0. Mostly they might release it towards the end of this year.
Dynatrace, AppDynamics.
And we'll also talk about 3 levels of conformance: A standard, AA standards, and AAA standards. So whenever you certify an application that, hey, this is accessibility certified, then the question is it single A or AA or AAA?
That's where
single A is
comes in the
by default given for any application developed without testing. After you test it,
we talk about the SRE module.
With a lot of difficulty, you get AA certified.
And security is a part of cloud. Okay.
If you focus more and more and more, your application gets AAA certified, which is practically not possible for any project. Hardly 1 or 2 industries are planning for AAA certification, especially the military applications, defense applications. Army applications, they go for AAA. Normal projects that you work in your organization or I work in my organization, they are mostly certified at AA only. Again, I will talk about what is A certification, what is AA, what is AAA once we move to chapter 2. Because right now it is too difficult to convince you or give you that knowledge. Something like, AAA is like a student getting first rank in the class. AA is like the guy is getting second rank or third rank.
That's how we
And single A is like the student just passed the examination without any rank. So something like that you can think of. We'll also talk about some common accessibility issues and development standards called as ARIA, which we pronounce it as ARIA, which stands for Accessible Rich Internet Applications.
In SRE, we have various roles.
To make your application accessible, developers use this ARIA concept to make the application accessible.
They work in Shift,
right? Which means we do not test for accessibility just like that. The developer says he or she has used ARIA standards, and then only you can do accessibility testing. So that is your entry criteria.
We are trying to.
If developer says, I did not do any magic for accessibility, but still you test it. Now it's a waste effort from your side because your application cannot be certified for accessibility if the developer never followed accessibility standards. So for them to follow accessibility standards, we go for ARIA, meaning developers go for ARIA standards, Accessible Rich Internet Applications. I hope I'm clear until chapter 1 and chapter 2. Can I have a quick confirmation? And if you have questions also, you can either ask me right away or put it on the chat.
Okay, I take the silence that we're all good, friends.
Fantastic.
So we're going to start.
And I repeat again, do not wait until the end of the demo class to ask some basic questions. If you want, put it away on the chat or interrupt me.
So let's meet
I'm
on
okay
Wednesday
for that. Now chapter 3 is more of practicals. No more theory, because chapter 1 and chapter 2 will make you in a very comfortable position to understand what is accessibility, what is WCAG, what is ARIA, what is core, what is AAA, AAA. So chapter 3 will start talking about writing test cases, checklists, success criteria or guidelines, meaning we will talk about in-depth WCAG 2.2 guidelines in the first point of chapter 3. Then we are going to start off with our practical accessibility testing. So example, I have listed something here. Check whether your website is navigable for all types of users. Right. So if I take this application itself, it's a website, right? Can every person navigate through the entire content? So we're going to talk about it.
These are the weekends
Then one of the important thing in practicals or in interviews or in project is keyboard accessibility testing, meaning is your application accessible for keyboard users? Meaning if a person says, I don't have mouse, can I still go through each text box, each button, each drop down, each menu link, each hyperlink? Can I submit the form? Can I cancel the form? Can I clear the form using keyboard? So we have a detailed keyboard accessibility testing checklist from WCAG. So we are going to talk about it practically and theoretically. And to do keyboard accessibility testing, I'm introducing a couple of tools here. Andy is one such tool, and then a tool which is popular from IBM, which is IBM Equal Accessibility Checker. So these are the two tools that I'm going to introduce for keyboard accessibility testing. And one of the common tools that, one of the common questions that you ask is, am I teaching any tools which are licensed? The answer is no. All the tools I'm teaching are open source tools. They're all free. So you don't have to worry about licensing cost. It's free for everyone, okay? It's not a trial version, it's a free for everyone.
Also get the Linux,
then we will also talk about next checklist will be non-visual navigation, right? Which means
the Linux part,
people who have this disability, right? Visual dependencies. People who cannot see completely, or people who see partially but who cannot see the rest of the part. People who are colorblinded. Right? So for all visual challenges, this checklist will help. So I'm going to write the checklist. I'm not going to say, okay, go to this abcd.com website and read it for yourself. I will give you the link, but I will also explain it.
We're talking about L2 here, Hari.
Okay, so I'm going to. In fact, I will write it before you guys so that you'll understand this non-visual navigation. And the tools are screen reader tools. So these are few of the tools we have. I may not teach all the 4 tools. JOS is a paid application. A similar application to this is NVDA, which is lifelong free. We'll install this. Then you have Narrator, which comes by default with your Windows operating system. So I'll use mostly Narrator, which is from Microsoft. And if you're on Mac operating system, you have VoiceOver, which is also free, and it comes by default with your Mac OS. So if any of you are joining from Mac, you can use VoiceOver. If you are on Windows, you can use Narrator. These 2 tools are enough to replace these 2 tools, but the functionality is the same.
We're not here to prepare about L1.
The next checklist is to talk about people who are having low vision. So low vision means, see, if I decrease the font size,
complete this course anyway, you'll become
L1, there is the font size now.
Move towards L2.
Right now, if I ask one of you, right, if I say Maz or Harshita, Jay, do you see the content here? Can you read it? Obviously, they will say, come on, Kiran, no one understands what is this, because I have zoomed a lot, right? So no one can read it.
So I think we are done.
Because I've zoomed in, what if the zoom is 100%, but still you have a problem? It's a low vision problem, right? So for people who have vision issues, they zoom the text a lot. So zooming is not just the solution. There are rules from WCAG how much you can zoom, and when you zoom, what are the problems that will come, how accessibility is impacted. So we'll talk about that checklist as well and how to test it. So to test the zoom issues or low vision users, I have these tools: magnifier, response viewer, change the screen port size, etc. So these are the tools I'm going to teach you in chapter 3 practicals. Okay, so there is a question. First question again, Harshita, thank you for asking the question. The question is, will these automation tools give 100% results, or do we need manual checks again? Good question. So the answer is both. See, automation helps you to some extent, and a manual check through the checklist will give you more confidence. So I would say in your real project, mix of both is what we do. You do little manual checks with the help of a tool or without the help of a tool, plus whenever your time is running out, then you depend on an automation tool which can give you quick information. So I will say automation tool will help you probably on 70% of the chances, and manual activities will help you at least on the 30% chances. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Harshita. Moving further on chapter 4, we will talk about color blindness. Most of the people have color blindness, meaning they cannot see red as red. They cannot see green as green. Example, I will also show you one practical example. So one of you can unmute, or any one of you can unmute and tell me now, do you see a green color WhatsApp icon on this page?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So here, so I repeat my language. Do you see a green colored WhatsApp icon? So you understood my question, and the answer is yes. And here I am discriminating because I'm using the word green color. So when I say, okay, Priyanka, go and click on the green color icon, Priyanka will blindly go and click on this green icon. So using the color name in web applications, in mobile apps, is a discrimination according to WCAG guidelines. Because what if there is a person who is color blinded, he or she cannot see green as green? Probably Priyanka says, Kiran, I don't see WhatsApp icon in green, but I'm seeing it as blue. Because for Priyanka, green could be blue color. For someone else, like say Mass, green could be red color, right? Thankfully, we are grateful to God that we are seeing green as green, but there are certain people in this world who cannot see all the colors. So when I tell them, okay, Mr. John, can you go and click on green color WhatsApp icon? It is incorrect according to WCAG guidelines, which means in some of your applications, they say to proceed further, click on green color login button. So that's incorrect statement to be used in the applications. Do not refer the color name. So we'll talk about more about these kind of guidelines, how to test color. Like if Priyanka says, Kiran, I cannot see green, but it is stopping me in my test case. What should I do? The answer is chapter 4, right? So we are going to talk about color contrast accessibility testing. Again, probably Ravi will say, Kiran, that's interesting, but I'm seeing green as green. But I have a customer who says he sees green as blue. How would I get into his world? So Ravi wants to experience that green as blue. How is it possible? It is possible in one of the automation tools available for accessibility testing. Not only Ravi, even me, Mallikarjun, Neelaveni, everyone who is in this batch, right? You will experience green color probably in blue, and red in yellow color, orange in pink color, based on how science is playing with our lives. Right? There are tools available so that you can get into the shoes of a color blinded person. So you're getting into their world to understand how they are seeing your application, and accordingly your brain will signal you this should be treated as a bug or this should not be treated as a bug, right? So that kind of maturity understanding you will get in chapter 4. For that, there are tools available. Example, we just call it as color contrast analyzer. Okay, so I'll be talking about this checklist and the tools, how to get into their worlds using chapter 4. Chapter 5, here is where I have listed all the tools that I'm explaining from accessibility testing perspective. So chapter 5 is going to be very overwhelming for you. A lot of time consumption will happen in this chapter. Okay, so accessibility testing is also called as A11Y because between A and Y in accessibility word, there are 11 characters in between. So we just call it as ALI, A11Y or ALI. So when it comes to screen readers for visual impairment, we use these three tools. For color contrast analyzer, which is for color blindness, these are the these are the browser extensions I'm going to help. For regular accessibility testing, automation or quick testing results, there is a tool called Wave. It is available as an extension for maximum browsers, but I'm going to prefer Chrome, and directory testing on this website is also there. And then there is a tool called Axe Dev Tools, which is a very famous tool in the industry. In fact, an industry recommended tool, interview question also. And this tool is available for all the browsers. I'll pick a Chrome and explain. Then you have Lighthouse tool, which is quite famous from